So yesterday was probably not the way that Rockstar expected to have their final day of the weekend transpire. Of course, we talked yesterday about the Grand Theft Auto 6 leak that hit the internet. Over 90 videos of gameplay, very early footage, hit the internet for this upcoming game, and everyone was all over the place with this. Some people didn't think the footage was real. Some people thought that the footage looked bad, and to them, I'm like, it's probably a super old build. This game isn't coming out anytime soon. That's a really weird reaction to have. Some people just put on their sympathy cap for some strange reason. We'll talk about all that stuff, but now Rockstar themselves have come along and made an official statement on this leak, thus pretty much confirming what we all thought, at least people with a brain, that this indeed was actual footage of Grand Theft Auto 6. How this person ended up getting this footage, what ended up happening with the ransom situation, we'll talk a little bit about that in this video as well. The ransomer, the person who is taking credit for the hacks, actually sold the source code for Grand Theft Auto 5 previously, or after I made my video yesterday on it, for like $100,000 in Bitcoin. So that's a really weird situation. It's a very bizarre situation. One of which I don't think we've ever seen, leaks of this size. And like I said, people thought that the footage wasn't real. Some people made videos with the footage on YouTube, and I said in my video yesterday that if, Rockstar comes along and starts DMCAing these claims and, taking down these videos, I don't want to see no crying faces or anything like that. And thankfully, most people that put up videos that actually show the footage that had them taken down were pretty responsible with it. 8-Bit Eric, my buddy over there, he made a video talking about it. His video got taken down, and then he made a follow-up video like, yeah, I was pretty sure that was gonna happen. So shout outs to him for keeping it real with that. But it was just a very bizarre situation. People on Twitter, a lot of these freaking Twitter checkmark people who, yes, I guess technically I'm one of them, were just outpouring with sympathy for Rockstar. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. This is the worst thing ever. And I'm just like, oh, okay, it's an unfortunate thing. It's definitely not an ideal situation. It's something that you've been working hard on. Gets out there in a very early build. People are going to start judging it to some degree. But let's not act like, Rockstar headquarters got like knocked over and all their pets got skinned alive and like their cars, they all got keyed and stuff like that. Like, this is still a company that's almost worth $1 billion. I'm sure they will rebound just fine. It's not like Rockstar is the most, innocent company in the world. People were saying that, oh, this just proves that we shouldn't judge games on early footage and stuff like that. And it's like, judge Cyberpunk in your Cyberpunk chair when, before that came out and you hyped up the game, and then the game came out in a broken, buggy mess, and then you just sort of disappeared. So let's not get too crazy with this. Stuff happens within video games. Stuff unfortunately happens. It's all about the rebound. It's all about the response. Obviously, nobody wants to have your information hacked into, your network hacked into, all this stuff leaked out there. But let's keep this reasonable here. At the end of the day, this is still a company that's worth nearly $1 billion. I'm sure they will be just fine sleeping on their piles of money with this. Well, Rockstar has come along and, like I said, given an update on the situation. So we're going to check out this update together and see what they have to say about it. A message from Rockstar Games. We recently suffered a network intrusion in which an unauthorized third party illegally accessed and downloaded confidential information from our systems, including early development footage for the next Grand Theft Auto. At this time, we do not anticipate any disruption to our live game services, nor any long-term effect on the development of our ongoing projects. We are extremely disappointed to have any details of our next game shared with you all in this way. Our work on the next Grand Theft Auto game will continue as planned, and we remain as committed as ever to delivering an experience to you, our players, that truly exceeds your expectations. We will update everyone again soon, and of course, we will properly introduce you to the next game when it is ready. We want to thank everyone for their ongoing support through this situation, the Rockstar Games team. So, pretty much what I thought was going to happen with this. Rockstar essentially came along and confirmed this. They confirmed that this was actual footage of Grand Theft Auto 6, and this is probably a very early build. Some of the stuff was sort of piggybacking on other rumors that we had talked about, the whole female lead and male lead Bonnie and Clyde situation. I mean, the footage is still out there. You can clearly see the footage. I, of course, am not showing the footage because I'm not an idiot. I just am more interested in the overall situation, the reaction to it from people within the industry, from Twitter check marks to people, within Rockstar themselves. Like I said, this is going to be a game that's going to sell based on its name alone. Like, you look at Grand Theft Auto's 5 sales, and it's clear that this franchise is a behemoth. Like, this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest franchises in video games. They constantly re-release these games, and we all buy them up. We don't care. Look at the Grand Theft Auto trilogy situation. That came out in a pretty broken state, but it still sold. Like, people were still interested in it. People still want to play their Grand Theft Auto games. And I think Rockstar Games does craft one of the best open world experiences. I think it's silly how many people were quick to write off this game in yesterday's footage, because it really shows you that you don't understand how games are developed. You don't understand that there are builds of games that come along. This game is not coming out anytime soon. I think we all understand that. I think we all get that when it comes to this. This game's coming out years into the future. This was just a little glimpse at a early build of this game that still looked pretty good. It still had all your Grand Theft Auto 6 mechanics. Some of the things were actually pretty visually impressive, but there's also text holders and placeholders for stuff within that footage. So to sit there and try to over critique it, I think it's ridiculous. But on the other side, I think it's ridiculous that a lot of people say, oh, well, this is an early build. You shouldn't judge things on early builds and preview builds and stuff like that. It's like, well, wait a minute. Like, there's a balance that you have to have with it. You have to understand that games are constantly, especially in the modern era, games are constantly going under refreshes and updates, and new situations and new things are being added into these games as time goes on, especially with a game the size of Grand Theft Auto 6. So I think there is a balance. I think if you write it off, that's pretty stupid. But if you say that you can't have any sort of opinion on the footage, that's also pretty stupid. You need to be like in the middle. You need to be like, okay, well, this is early footage. I like what they're doing here. Maybe I don't necessarily like this situation, but you shouldn't write off a game and you shouldn't give the game high praise. But the stupidest thing for me was just the outpouring of sympathy and empathy for Rockstar Games because of the situation. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate. It sucks. But is this going to affect their bottom line? Is this going to affect sales of Grand Theft Auto 6? Are people now, no, I'm concerned about Grand Theft Auto 6. People with a brain aren't concerned with it. Like, just the overreactions on both sides. The overreactions to the situation were probably the highlight of it for me. Just, this game sucks. This game looks like crap. To the, oh my God, thoughts and prayers for you guys during this difficult time. It's like, bro, the company's worth $1 million. Rockstar Games has done a ton of shady stuff in the past with things like consumers and things like that. You can look into their history and see it. But all in all, it was an interesting story. It's an interesting situation. Obviously, don't be an idiot and hack into servers and then try to hold things for ransom and stuff like that and think you can get away with it, especially with a company the size of Rockstar, which has literally sued websites for talking early about Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff before and won those lawsuits, mind you. Won those lawsuits. You got to keep things in perspective here. But, interesting to see that this was indeed confirmed to be Grand Theft Auto 6. And I don't think it's going to have any sort of big long-term effect on the development of the game or the release of the game or anything like that. Rockstar themselves have said it. They said that it's not going to affect their live services. It's not going to impact the development of the game or anything like that. It's just a situation where, things got out of hand. The guilty parties need to be held accountable, but people also need to keep things in perspective when talking about these leaks. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this whole situation. Is this how you saw things going? Did you expect Rockstar to come out and cry about it and say, the development's ruined for the game? Or did you understand that, hey, there's a fine middle ground that you need to take with this? You obviously can't review the game based on the build that you've seen, but you can have comments about the build that you've seen and hope for improvements on things, because at the end of the day, Rockstar doesn't care. The only thing they care about right now is catching the individual who did the security breach and then making more money by doing more updates to Grand Theft Auto Online and working on Grand Theft Auto 6. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit that bell notification as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.